because I went back and said, yeah, maybe they announced it in church. Oh, yeah, I didn't announce it. Or maybe they posted it on like the Facebook page or something.
I usually use it.
But yeah, that was.
You want to go first? I went in and I was like, wait.
All the church plays.
I dyed my hair last night because I felt like I was in control of it. I think my organs are still inside. I felt like I was not in control of it. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, you know what? Would you go get it? You know, it's not quite so permanent.
Or so expensive.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
You know, it's all right.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it depends. If you do I mean,
You get what you pay for, regardless.
how's your granddaughter? How was the trip? Oh, wonderful. Good. I forgot to ask.
yeah, you gotta make choices.
I'll go.
Or party mode.
Or party mode. She's done the party. Let's move to the next phase.
That happened to me. Sounds like she
Every class she has except math is loaded. Women's University, which is primarily black and brown.
Okay.
Early before the pandemic. Needed a recruit. They're enrolled in they only have 15 students. Not very old. And so they went to inner city. DC. Which really
I mean, he already mentioned that he lives in Friday nights.
but I'm depressed.
Well, you got
I've never heard of a jazz violin.
Are we ready to go?
That was impressive, wasn't it? You too can become a worship associate and do that very job. So you don't know what it's like till you've experienced it. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln on this Sunday morning. My name's Judy Hart. I am joined by our worship associate, Kathy Disney, who's out greeting people right now, and our guest speaker this morning, the Reverend Beth Graverholt. Over the last several years, the way we've met has often changed. But whether in person, on Zoom, on a YouTube live stream, or some way of being that we cannot yet imagine, worship together is a chance to deepen our connection with the sources of meaning in our lives and to proclaim who we are and what we are about. Throwing open the doors of the congregation and proclaiming the radical love and welcome that is at the heart of our faith. The Unitarian Church of Lincoln aspires to be a loving community, uniting reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves and the world. Welcome to this loving community. May we in our gathering here be about the work of transforming ourselves and our world. We're beginning a week. I am weary. We are beginning a month where the theme is interconnectedness. And I thought it was really important for us, when talking about interconnectedness, to look back as we look forward. So in the summer of 2022, large percentage of our church population came together to learn more about the people who were the stewards of this land well before 1960 whatever, when we started building this building here. So I'd love to start this month of interconnectedness with our land acknowledgement. We, the people of the Unitarian Church of Lincoln, acknowledge the land and the peoples that have called this place home for thousands of years. The Oto-Missouria, the Omaha, Ponca, Kansa, and Pawnee have lived here at one time. Many others have visited in order to collect salt at the local salt basin. Nisquithe, by which this area continues to be known, is the Omaha word for salt water. We thank them all for their good care of this sacred ground. We're going to do another deep dive this summer during the month of July. We're going to have a month of Indigenous programming so we can continue to learn. We're pretty excited about that. All right. Our chalice lighting this morning is the prayer of co-creation by Lynn Cox. Creative Spirit, source of life and love, we give thanks for the beauty of this day and for the company of those assembled here. Thank you for the breezes of change, clearing our heads and bringing fresh ideas. May they cleanse our minds of the oppressions and isms that divide us. Thank you for the flame of hope, the heat of righteous anger, the warmth of compassion, and the fire of commitment. May they bubble the cauldrons of transformation. Thank you for oceans of love, rivers of connection, tears of relief, and pools of serenity. May healing waters flow over us and through us and among us, wearing down the sharp rocks of despair to bring joy in the morning. Thank you for the good earth beneath us, around us, and within us. May we take this clay and co-create a new realm of justice and beauty. Thank you for all of these and more. We accept our gifts and commit to building, sculpting, painting, singing, and dancing them to life, to abundant life. So be it, and blessed be. Amen. So as I light the chalice, could we rise as we are able and sing together, Wake Now My Senses? It's number 298 in the gray hymnal.
Keep with the Anyone would like to come forward for the story, you can do so now. It's just on. There we go, yeah. Our story today is called The Invisible String by Patricia Karst. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night, but suddenly it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mama, Mama," they cried out as they ran to her. "Oh, don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "But we want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mama said, "You know, we're always together no matter what." "But how can we be when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mama held something right in front of them and said, "Well, this is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mama was holding. "I was about your age when my mom first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "Well, you don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it in your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked. "She sure does," said Mama. "And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Liza. "Best friends too." "How far can the string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mama said. "Would it even reach me if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," Mama said, "even there." "Or a mountain climber?" "Even there." "A ballerina in France?" "Even there." "A jungle explorer?" "Even there." "How about an astronaut in space?" "Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian even after he died?" "Yeah, even there, wherever there is." "Does the string go away when you're mad at us?" "Oh, never," said Mama. "Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see or what game to play in the back seat or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mama chased the twins back to their beds. And within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. And as they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they now could clearly see that no one is ever alone. And that is the end of our story. And Bill Carpenter is our guest musician today. And as we listen, the children are dismissed back to their classrooms.
Good morning. I'm Kim Zeman, a member of the Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. Please join me for coffee and conversation in the gallery after the service. I have a few announcements to share as our church community extends beyond our Sunday service. Today is the deadline for donations for the church auction. The button at the top of the home page of our website, unitarianlincoln.org, will take you to the auction page. The auction will be online again this year, with bidding running Sunday, April 14th at noon until Sunday, April 28th at noon. Please begin thinking of who you would like to nominate for Share the Plate, an unsung Unitarian for the next church year. Read more about it in the April newsletter and in an upcoming e-blast. If you have questions or would like more information, please stop by the church office after service. Please join us next week, Sunday, April 14th at 11:30 after the service for a listening circle. This will be a time to share thoughts and feelings, hopes and dreams, questions and concerns as we say goodbye to Oscar and transition to interim ministry. UCL leadership has been working with the UUA Transition Office and UUA Mid-America Regional Advisors in the interim search process. We are in the process of creating an interim minister search committee. We have also filled out the required notice of transition form and have started a church profile on the UUA Ministries search system website. We'll continue to update the congregation in this process. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or a board member or Evelyn Weymouth as she leads our interim minister search committee. Thank you.
A central part of our service together is the time we join together as a community to mark the moments of our lives. We share with one another our joys, our sorrows, the events that mark the steps on our journey. The threads of sorrow and those of joy are intertwined in the fabric of our lives, present for all, remembered by all. We share those threads, and then they are woven together with those of others in our community. Our joys are shared and magnified. We are comforted in our sorrows. I invite you to type into the chat or to speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow. And there is a lag between the online and the live, so I may come back as I need to catch those who type into the chat. So please share your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow. Jala. Aid workers.
Orly Ferguson has entered hospice.
Orly Ferguson has entered hospice, longtime member of this congregation. Linda. Dorothy. Chris. The family of Scarlett Kokechi. In the chat, we have Palestine and Ukraine and all suffering from war. And coal brings plenty. I invite you now to type into the chat or share out loud your name or the name of another you wish to have remembered in joy. Katie. Shelley. Pam. Andrew. 4x4 dinners.
And all the new members.
And all the new members.
An electric trike to get here.
An electric
Trike.
trike to get here. Rain. In the chat we have Andy.
Auction donors.
A joy for auction donors
And auction bidders.
and auction bidders. The continuing efforts of justice in action.
The support of this church.
The support of this church.
We had a wonderful concert last night. It was just fantastic here.
A wonderful concert last night. We know too that there are some joys and some sorrows that are yet unspoken but still deeply felt. Let us hold a moment of silence for everything that is unspoken. Thank you for your presence. And please remain seated and we will sing our next hymn, Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal.
Come unto me,
Each week, we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from our participation in the community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasure. To give, you can text UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. While our next piece of music is playing, the offering will now be gratefully received.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. Our reading for today is by Sarah Eileen Lawal, called Seeking That Which Unites Us. Spirit of life and love, in this time of uncertainty, of fear and angst, our nation holds its collective breath. In this time when rhetoric blusters about the word and words are used as weapons, our nation clenches its fists, tightens its shoulders, eyes squeezed shut. Some are preparing for a fight. May we remember we are a people of resilience. We have faced uncertainty before. We have weathered storms. We have been consumed by flames. We have risen like the phoenix from the ashes, and we will again. We the people. May we remember our shared humanity, our universal kinship, our interdependence as we unclench our fists and breathe together, breathing in love and breathing out peace. May we recognize the spark of the divine inside all of us, even those who are not quite sure about it. In this time of uncertainty, we remember the good will go on as we work to move forward together, we the people, seeking that which unites us with our arms reaching out wide for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. May love prevail. In the name of all that is holy, we pray. Amen. Let's sing together. Next hymn is We Are, which is 1051 in the Teal hymn book. It's one of my favorites. So stand as you are able and let's sing out loud.
good to be with you this morning. Thank you for having me. It's always a joy to be here. If you don't know me very well, Judy might know me well enough to know that I've spent much of my life trying to keep my world neatly organized. As a child, I grew up eating on those plastic plates with little compartments to keep the meat separate from the vegetables. In my middle school years, I can distinctly remember being inspired by an episode of Full House to take a permanent marker and draw a line on the orange shag carpet right down the middle of the bedroom that my younger sister and I shared, as if to say, this side's mine and this side's yours. We're different, and although we might have to share a space right now, there has to be a clear division between us. I excelled in high school biology classes where I learned about species taxonomy, which defines groups of biological organisms based on their shared characteristics, with all the world's organisms arranged neatly into an orderly hierarchy. In Sunday school class and youth group, I was taught that there were clear distinctions between right and wrong, humanity and divinity, what we are and what we should be. Having my world, my mind, my spirituality divided into neat, distinguishable categories gave me a sense of control. And still, many days, in a world where climate change, political turmoil, and rapid technological advancements seem to make every day more uncertain than the last, I long to find some sense of order in the chaos. I crave it. I chase it. I put all of my energy into it, and the more I do, the more tired I become. The more suffering I experience in my mind, my body, and my spirit. The second noble truth of Buddhism teaches the ignorance of reality, and the endless striving for things to be other than they are is one of the root causes of human suffering. Years of reflection on this truth has led me to the conclusion that the reason my pursuit of order and organization and separateness causes me suffering is because such a sanitized, neatly organized existence based on hierarchy is fundamentally in opposition to the nature of reality itself. The theologian and environmentalist Sally McFague describes the dominant understanding of creation that we learn in biology class as one invoking the image of a ladder, which has allowed humanity to put ourselves on top with other animals as inferior to us and radically different from us. And I would argue, as humans, we even divide ourselves into categories based on difference and misguided conceptions of who is better than or lesser than. Alternatively, McFague asks us to consider, what if the evolutionary model, our way of understanding who we are and describing the world around us, were a bush rather than a ladder? A bush does not have a main trunk or a dominant direction of growth or even a top. There is no privileged place on a bush. Rather, what a bush suggests is diversity, while at the same time, interconnectedness and interdependence, as all its parts are related and all are fed by a common root system. I begin this way not to suggest that it's the only reasoning for the belief that we are all, as humans and as a part of a vast creation, interconnected and interdependent, but merely to tell you that it's mine. And in the moments when I wish I could arrange my whole life and everything and everyone else, for that matter, into one of those compartmentalized plates that are made for toddlers, I look at the bushes outside my living room window, the ones that I dread trying to trim each spring because their prickly branches cut my hands, and I can't tell where one branch ends and another begins. And I'm reminded that all of life and all of creation is more complex, more connected, and more unruly than I could possibly comprehend in just one lifetime. And it strikes me that one of modernity's great heroes for justice recognized this connectedness too. In his letter from a Birmingham jail, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. addresses a group of 8 white clergymen who have spoken out against him. Influenced, he says, by the view which argues against outsiders coming in, referring to his organizing in Birmingham for civil rights when he wasn't a resident there himself. In reply to their criticism, King writes, "I am cognizant of the interrelatedness of all communities and states. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly," he writes. To do any justice work without acknowledging this reality, or rather the very nature of reality as interconnected and interdependent, is to chase after the wind, as the author of Ecclesiastes writes. Just as all humans and all of creation are interconnected, so too are the injustices and oppression that we both experience and perpetuate. The three justice issues Lancaster County's collaborative of faith communities, Justice in Action, has chosen to address perhaps exemplify this interconnectedness. We know that right here in Lancaster County's overcrowded jail, individuals with untreated mental health conditions are disproportionately represented, often due to a lack of access to adequate mental health care and support services in the community. Instead of receiving treatment, our neighbors who need care end up incarcerated, where their mental health deteriorates further due to the stressful and often dehumanizing conditions of our jails and prisons. This perpetuates that cycle of incarceration and poor mental health outcomes, contributing to further injustice and oppression. Meanwhile, formerly incarcerated individuals, those who, according to the state, have done their time, often face significant barriers to accessing stable housing upon release. Barriers that we heard a lot about in our listening sessions this fall, including discrimination from landlords and restrictions on public housing eligibility. This lack of housing stability increases the likelihood of recidivism, meaning they'll return to jail or prison again, and it perpetuates cycles of poverty and incarceration. Moreover, the criminalization of homelessness exacerbates the issue, as individuals experiencing homelessness are disproportionately targeted by law enforcement for minor offenses, simply related to their lack of housing. And it's a vicious cycle. Access to safe and stable housing is crucial for maintaining good mental health. However, the lack of affordable housing options exacerbates mental health disparities, particularly among low-income communities. Homelessness and housing instability can lead to chronic stress, trauma, and exacerbation of pre-existing conditions. Without adequate housing, individuals may struggle to access those essential services that they need and their support networks, further entrenching that cycle of poverty and poor health outcomes, leading community leaders who we've spoken with to suggest that a lot of people in our jail are better off there because at least they have a roof over their head. That's not something that I can accept. Overall, these interconnected systems create a web of injustice and oppression that disproportionately affects marginalized communities, especially people of color. This means that addressing health justice, criminal justice, and housing justice is racial justice. And if we undertake anything in any of these areas without considering the environmental impact, we will in turn be causing harm to the rest of the beings we are related to as co-inhabitants of this planet. Any work for justice must take into consideration environmental justice. The issues facing us today are not simple. They're not easy. They can't be compartmentalized into a nice plastic plate. But they require a comprehensive approach that recognizes and dismantles the systemic barriers within each system while promoting equity, access to resources, and equitable treatment for all. And to do any of this, we need each other and the wisdom of the earth around us. If all of creation is part of McFaig's proverbial bush, then when one part is harmed, the entire organism must adapt in response. Redistributing energy, and resources for collective survival. That's why at Justice in Action we ground all of our work in relationships. Relationships among those within faith communities and between our faith communities themselves. In truth, the interconnected nature of reality is such that there's no other way to do anything effectively on this planet than to do it in relationship, honoring the interconnectedness that grounds our being. In the work of justice, moments when we all come together to remember and honor these relationships are crucial to our capacity to continue the work. That's why team leaders and network members from the Unitarian Church will be coming together with those from other faith communities at Justice in Action's Solution Briefing Rally tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. at First Plymouth Church. If you are a team leader or network member for Justice in Action, could you stand up now, please? If you came to a listening session, if you're coming to the rally tomorrow, these individuals that you see standing are leading the work of justice in this faith community, tasked with the responsibility of building relationships and guiding us all to think about and act upon our most deeply held values of fairness, justice, and dignity for all. Let's thank them for their dedication with a round of applause. At tomorrow night's Solutions Briefing Rally, those gathered will connect with one another around the intersecting issues of injustice facing us and our loved ones, and will prepare our collective body to organize powerfully in order to address the problems occurring in our community, which, if they affect just one of us, truly affect all of us. This gathering is far more than just an informational meeting. It's a tool for strengthening that network of mutuality that binds us. Let us join together now in song to celebrate our interconnectedness as we sing together hymn number 318 in your gray hymn book, We Would Be One.
I love our time together. I hope that it was meaningful to you all, and you think about interconnectedness in your whole life. Our closing words today are by Peter Rabel. Does that name sound familiar to anybody? Yes. Can anybody say something about who Peter Rabel was? Former minister here. He is the minister that put the first shovel in the ground, I think, along with the Board of Trustees in the mid-1960s as we were working on this building. Another little known fact about Peter Rabel is he is the other minister in the last 64 years that got called to another church while he was serving this church. So it just seems like good bookends, doesn't it? It's all good. You know, those 60s were crazy times. So our closing words today are by Reverend Peter Rabel, Together. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. This is as it should be. Together we are more than any one person could be. Together we can build across the generations. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Together we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice. We are ever bound in community, and may it always be so. So we're going to listen to one more piece of music by Bill, and thank you. So go in peace until we're together again.